That's a wonderful experience that I desire for every husband and wife to have. But you can only have it if you stop leaning on your own understanding and stop looking to the ways of the world and start following the ways of God and ferocious with Him and manly. Like a man, you're not a man, you're a woman. But if you want to play that man role, that receive all the things that the world has for you. But I want to play the woman's role so that I can receive all the things that the Lord has for me. And that's the thing that a lot of women who believe in the Lord and want their household to and their marriage to honor the Lord don't even realize that they're doing wrong. You say that you want to follow the Lord's example, but then in reality, you're looking to the world's model for marriage and relationship roles to determine how you act in your marriage. Why would you look to the world as an example? The world says whatever the world says, but you're trying to run your household godly. So don't look to the world because they don't know what the hell they're talking about. They're in darkness. They can't discern right from wrong. So what they think is right is not right because they're not connected to the one who is righteous, who's good, who opens their eyes to see the consequences of certain actions that they think are harmless. So if you're trying to be a godly family, then follow God's example, not the world's example. God's example is that the man is leading the household. That yes, you are the weaker vessel, but that's okay. And if you want to know where this is in the word, because I've seen in lots of conversations online and even in life that we're now preaching that women and men are equal, that we're just as strong as men. No, the Lord did call you the weaker vessel. In 1 Peter 3 verse 7 says, it instructs husbands to live with their wives in an understanding. This is like, I don't know what version this is. This must be like NIV or something. I usually read KJV, but this is what I have here, so I'm going to read it. But pay attention to this, right? Live with their wives in an understanding way, showing honor to the woman as the weaker vessel, since they are heirs with you of the grace of life, so that your prayers may not be hindered. So, you all being the husband and the wife, you all operating the way that the Lord instructs you to, the husband honoring the wife submitting to the husband seeking the Lord, the wife seeking the desires of her husband. That perfect order is what allows your prayers to be heard by God. It says, so that your prayers may not be hindered. But when you all are following the world's example and trying to play out those roles that the world has set for men and women, for husbands and wives, we're equal, we'll split the chores, yada yada. No. Then your prayers are hindered. Then your household has strife. Then you're arguing with your spouse. Then you're unsatisfied. Then he's unsatisfied. I'm satisfied in my marriage. I think a lot of women on the outside looking in who don't understand the Lord, think women who, do all the cooking, do all the cleaning are like brainwashed and unhappy and tired all the time. No, the Lord energizes me so much and I'm happy all the time, rejoicing always because the Lord hears me. The Lord hears me and He's given me such a wonderful husband. If there's anything that my husband is doing that I don't like, I make my requests known to the Lord and my prayers are not hindered because I'm playing my role. I'm submitting unto Him. I'm doing those things that are helpful to Him in every single way. We gotta, social media, we gotta keep it clean. And so yeah, when he speaks, for example, here's a very specific example. There are times where I know I'm right. Like, we can pull out the receipts. I know I'm right. I might have even a recording of him seeing something, because we record, we create content about the Lord, so I'm recording often. Like, if I really wanted to, like, we'd be arguing about something about not, and that's the whole point. We're not arguing. Like, he'll say something about, I said this and you don't remember it, and he's pissed off about that. But I'm like, in my head, I'm like, no, you didn't say that. You said this, and I could pull out the receipts right now if I really wanted to, and I used to, but that has never served me, because when I'm playing a contentious role, like warring with him, I realize that's not the role that the Lord told me to play. So whenever I do try to argue back with him, it always just ends with both of us upset, me usually way more upset than him. And it doesn't feel good. I'm like, bro, what the hell? Like, I was right. But when I instead just, okay, if he wants to speak harshly to me and say, oh, wow, you never remember anything, you're being an airhead, like, pay attention, whatever, and he's just going off, I let him go off. And I'm like, yeah, babe, sorry. Next time I'll do better. I remember better. And from the outside looking in, that'd be like people, women and other men or other whatever, people looking and be like, wow, she's letting him run all over her, and wow, she must be unhappy. But no, I know the role that the Lord has called me to play. I'm his helper. It's not going to be helpful for him or for me to oppose him and try to prove my point and just aggravate him, get on his nerve even more. So I let him have his little tantrum. And then, how do I put this? Okay, this is what I wanted to say. I forgot. So from the outside looking in, as he's getting aggressive and annoyed or speaking harshly to me, and I'm just accepting it, what role am I playing there? Do you remember how Jesus spoke to the woman at the well? He said, why should I give what belongs to the children to the dogs or to the pigs? As something like that, some animal. But it was a pretty harsh and derogatory statement, if you really think about it. But how did she reply? She could have gotten offended and be like, oh, how dare you call me a dog? How dare you call me a pig? Like, you don't even fucking know me, blah, blah, blah. She could have went off on him, but what would that have served her? She needs him. She needed the healing, the restoration, what he had to offer. And so she responded, oh, but even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall off the master's plate. Like, still feed me, still help me. And many of you are too prideful and high-minded to humble yourself like that. But the Lord exalts the humble. And that's what you don't realize, and a lot of women in the world don't realize. When you decide to play that role, the submissive, soft, gentle, virtuous role that the Lord gave you to your husband, you're doing what's pleasing to God. And so you will be rewarded for that. But if you want to be high-minded and want to argue with your husband and be ferocious with him and manly like a man, you're not a man. You're a woman. But if you want to play that man role, that receive all the things that the world has for you, but I want to play the woman's role, the role that the Lord gave me, so that I can receive all the things that the Lord has for me. On the world side, there's divorce, there's single motherhood, there's constant arguing, there's we fell out of love. On this side over here, where we play our roles, there's love, there's rejoicing, there's in synchronization that is divine. And when I say divine, I'm not talking about, oh, coincidentally we were end up thinking about the same thing. No, I mean, he didn't even mouth anything to me, but I knew and did exactly what he wanted or was thinking about. And that's just the Lord syncing us up. He's making us one with each other and with him. And that's a wonderful experience that I desire for every husband and wife to have. But you can only have it if you stop leaning on your own understanding and stop looking to the ways of the world and start following the ways of God. And how it's going to look to other people is like you're his slave. You're his little bitch. And that's going to be like, that's what the word talks about. What is it? Romans 1 around 16-ish. Paul says, where is it at? For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ. Now he's talking very specifically about a certain context in that verse, but the word that verse also applies to the marriage relationship, right? You're gonna feel some shame. The world is gonna make you feel like it's shameful to play your role as a husband and as a wife. Quick break, ladies. You have to listen to this. God himself does not support your laziness. Even when we were with you, we gave this rule: the one who is unwilling to work shall not eat. Lazy people always want things but never get them. Those who work hard, they get plenty. If you love sleep, you will become poor. But if you use your time working, you'll have plenty to eat. Proverbs 6 says, you lazy people, how long are you going to lie there? You say, I just need a little rest, a quick nap, but you sleep and end up poor. Soon it will be like a thief came and stole everything you own. Ladies, the word is not soft about laziness. God doesn't bless delay. He blesses obedience. That's why I created the Virtuous Rise app. If you know God is calling you to rise early, seek him first and stop wasting time scrolling and snoozing, this app is for you. It's not just a feel-good reminder, it's an accountability system with real consequences. You set your wake-up goal, you choose the time, check in daily by texting or emailing Rise. You miss your check-in, you get charged. Real consequences, real action, real obedience. Proverbs 31:15 says, she rises while it is yet night. That is not a cute quote. It's a standard. If you're serious about walking in the calling God placed on your life, it starts the moment you open your eyes. Sign up today, start tomorrow. Let's rise with virtue and purpose. Let's rise together, queens. Okay, back to the video. They're gonna make you feel like it's a shameful thing that you're not gonna help your wife with the chores. You're gonna leave it all on her, and then your wife, and to the wife, you're gonna let him just run over you like that. Like, you're gonna do all that shit and you're not even gonna ask him for help. You're gonna let him talk to you like that. You're gonna let him make the decisions. Yeah, I'm gonna let him make the decisions. They're gonna make you feel like it's shameful. Fine, but I am not ashamed of the gospel. Do not be ashamed of the gospel. And what is the gospel? Yes, it's the message of Jesus Christ, but also it's you doing God's work, you doing what he has commanded you to do, and he's commanded you to submit yourself unto your husband. So don't be ashamed of doing that, because then you get to receive what I receive, which is a husband that is amazing. The times that he does step out of line and talk to me crazy, I'm not perfect. Sometimes I do argue back, but for way better than before. I still respond pleasantly to him, and then the Lord steps in and convicts him, because guess what? I'm his daughter. You can't talk to me any kind of way. You're my husband. You're supposed to honor me. And so the Lord, when he doesn't honor me, the Lord gets him. This is a very specific and good example to illustrate it. There was this one time where we had planned to go to the beach. This was so random. I still to this day don't understand like what happened to him. But anyways, let me tell the story. So we planned to go to the beach the next morning. I wake up and he's nowhere to be found. I'm like, okay. I'm thinking maybe he just went outside for some fresh air. No. I then call him. Turns out he went to the beach. And he was so like pissed off with me when I got on the phone. Like, he's like, oh, we said we were going to the beach. You didn't wake up, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, so I went to the beach without you. I'm like, and that really broke my heart, because I was so looking forward to going to the beach with him. I love spending time with my husband. I was excitedly really looking forward to going to the beach with him. So I was just like, I was really sad. It broke my heart that he just went without me, and then he was so like aggressive and angry about it. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, bro, what the hell did I do? Like, I was just sad about it. But anyways, we got off the phone, Fast forward, he comes back home. We just have regular day or what. No, he comes back home and very quickly after that gets really, really sick. I mean, body pains that I couldn't even imagine what it felt like because it wasn't me, but I was seeing the pain that he was in, like curled up in fetal position on the bed, cold sweats. One minute he's super cold, next minute he's super hot, and it just went on and on like that for a while. He vomited. He was weak. He was laying on the bed. He was laying on the floor. Like he was really going through it. And me at that time, this was way like more beginning in the beginning stages of my real walk with the Lord. So I didn't even really understand what was going on, but I played my role. I helped him. I nursed him. I laid my hands on him and commanded the infirmity to be gone. And I massaged him. And I cared for him. I loved on him. I nursed his ass back down. No, the Lord did that. But I played my role as a wife and comforted him and loved him and took care of him. And this ended up being like way later, months later, I think even a year later, where we were randomly having a conversation about this, and it turned out that not only did he go to the beach without me, which I was already hurt by, but because I asked, we were having a conversation about why the Lord afflicts people with illnesses and infirmity. And I asked him, like, do you know some of the reasons at times, like when you have been sick, like what exactly it was that the Lord was disciplining you for? And he was like, yeah, I do. Like, for example, that time, I know the reason that I was afflicted that way is because when I went to the beach, I went with a woman. This was a single woman, a mutual, well, I wouldn't call her my friend. Like, this is somebody we know from the neighborhood, right? But he knows her way more. They grew up in the same like community together, right? So he went with her. And not only did he go with her, which nothing happened, he didn't cheat on me or anything like that. I'm not a type to be jealous of my husband because I know he's faithful to our marriage. He went with her and he saw another male friend there at the beach. And this male friend, we had just ran into him like maybe 2 weeks before, and he introduced me as his wife. So now here's this guy who looks to Blaze as an example, because as a man of God, you are an example in the community. Men are, whether they admit it or not, and even if they're not looking at you, the Lord is looking at you to be an example to others of how to be godly, of how to be righteous. So here's this man who was introduced to me and Blaze as, we're husband and wife. I'm his wife. And then fast forward 2 weeks later, he sees Blaze at the beach with a young lady that's not his wife. How does that look to that guy? It looks like he's cheating on me. It looks like he's being unfaithful, even though that's not what he was doing. But the word says, even in your appearance, don't let your righteousness appear evil. Don't let people look at you and see you doing what seems wrong. Because even if you're not doing what seems wrong, that weaker brother who doesn't understand and doesn't know, they're going to be misled. So you being the example that you are, he did something that was crazy in the Lord's eyes. That was wrong. And so the Lord very quickly afflicted him. Now, what my husband didn't even know is that shit hurt me. Like, I didn't even know about the whole part that he went with a female. And but even without that, I was really brokenhearted about it. Like, I can't even explain to this day because it seems like such a simple thing, like, oh, he went to the beach without me, but it really hurt me. And the Lord saw my pain and so then disciplined him accordingly. All that is to say, what was I saying? That when you submit yourself unto the Lord, by submitting yourself unto your husband like he commands, the Lord will show up for you. He will defend you when your husband is not playing his proper role in honoring you and loving you like Christ loved the church. And you will feel like the luckiest, happiest, sexiest, most beautiful woman in the world, because your husband is going to make you feel like that, because you're playing your role and you're allowing him to play his role. And the thing is just perfect because you're following God's perfect, awesome will for your life.
Hello ladies, if you got value from this video, join the Virtuous Woman Community. There's a link in the channel description where you can get surrounded by other women who are seeking to deepen and develop their relationship with God. I manage the online community group, and it's not a place if you are not serious. If you are not serious about developing your relationship with God, this is not for you. This is for the women who are seriously dedicated to developing themselves as a woman of God. In that group, I'm going to break down deep concepts because, you know, on the page on this YouTube channel, there are certain things that I can't delve super deep into, or I will in certain videos, but for the most part, just like Jesus taught the disciples, when he was speaking to the whole crowd and everybody was around, he spoke in parables. But then when he was with the disciples in private, he broke things down to them. That's because it's not given to everyone to understand and know the things of God. It's given to his children who are chosen and who are seeking after him diligently, persistently, constantly, consistently. So if that's you, if that describes you, you're a woman that is seriously seeking the Lord and would like to know how to experience the real and tangible power of God in your life, not just pray and then never really hear from God, or something happens and you take that as, okay, I guess that was my answered prayer. No, you should pray and be certain when the Lord answers you, and know that he's going to answer you because you know you're walking in his will. And how do you know that? Because you're in your Bible consistently, you're learning his word, and you're a part of this community. Not saying that you need this community to know how to serve the Lord. Of course not. That's a kind of churchy half truth that the church tells you. Oh, you need to be in congregation, you need to be in community, don't forsake the gathering of the saints. Guess what? You're never alone. There's always a gathering. That's called the Holy Spirit within you and Jesus Christ and the Lord, and they're always with you. There's always a gathering of the saints. So I'm not telling you need to join this community to get close to God. The word says that no man needs to teach you, the Lord teaches you. So you don't need me to teach you. But if you're serious about walking with God and would like to have some guidance in it, that's here, and like you can ask me things, you can be surrounded by other like-minded women, then click the link in the channel description. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Comment below to tell me which part of the video gave you the most value, like which spoke to you the most or was most applicable to your life. And if you ladies have tips that if you've picked up, if you're married or even if you're single, but tips that you've picked up in how to deal with conflict in relationship, or just how to play that virtuous role in your marriage, leave them down below.